Alrighty, boys and girls, today we're going to be reviewing how to divide decimals. And it's going to be a little bit different than the way you learned to divide decimals last year. So let's make sure we're paying attention. Now, a few of you guys already might know how to do this. That's okay. We want to make sure we have notes in our notebook. So at the top, our goal for this lesson is that you will be able to divide fractions including mixed numbers and whole numbers. Just, if you want to listen to it, you can go out in the hallway and listen to it together just very quietly. Keep my door open. So that's going to be the goal throughout this lesson. And we're going to do a quick recap of something that we did talk about yesterday, and it is how do we change mixed numbers into improper fractions? Who remembers the acronym Miss Greathouse used? Parth? MAD. We want to make it mad. What does the M in MAD stand for, Haley? Multiply, and we're going to multiply my denominator times my whole number. What's 10 times 3? 30. Good job. What does the A stand for in MAD? Add. What are we going to add?
The numerator to the
product. The new product to the numerator. So 30 plus 5 is? 35. What does the D stand for? Denominator. Not divide. We got yesterday on that. So it's going to be that the denominator stays the same. So I have just changed this mixed number into an improper fraction. Now answer me this very quickly. Is this a simplified improper fraction? Can you simplify before you start dividing your fractions? Yeah, it'll actually save you some steps because you don't need common denominators when you multiply and divide. So what is a factor that 35 and 10 can both be evenly divided by, George? 5. What is 35 divided by 5?
7.
And what is 10 divided by 5? Do I have a new simplified improper fraction? Yes, and those numbers are going to be much easier to work with. So we always want to make sure we simplify improper fractions if we can. All right, now let's talk about the actual steps that we're going to use to divide fractions, okay? So I want you taking these notes with me on your paper as you're seeing them on the board. In this middle box right here, when we divide fractions, we will use the reciprocal. I spelled the wrong. Reciprocal of the second fraction we will change the division sign to multiplication. I like to use for reciprocal, flip, because what is the reciprocal of a fraction? Ethan?
Turn the denominator to the numerator and the numerator to the denominator.
Very good. Turning the denominator to the numerator and the numerator to the denominator. Here's what a reciprocal does. I'm going to take these notes up here, but I am going to erase them in a minute so you don't have to do it. I want you to look at the fraction of 1/3. What would be the reciprocal of 1/3? Parth? 3 wholes, so 3/1. Here's what a reciprocal means. When you multiply a number by its reciprocal, you should get as your answer 1 whole. That's how we define the word reciprocal. It is the factor that when multiplied by a number leads you to a product of 1. Multiplying by the reciprocal gets you 1. And that's how we're going to do solving division of fractions. So I like to think of one of my old favorite fast food restaurants when I think about dividing fractions. Anyone here like Kentucky Fried Chicken?
Oh, that's what
Yes. KCF. So we're going to flip Kentucky Fried Chicken into Kentucky Chicken Fried. The K means keep the first fraction. You want to keep the first fraction the same. The C is change the sign to multiplication. And the F is flip or reciprocal. Flip. Recall. Flip the second fraction. And what that leads us to do is now we have a multiplication problem. And we know how to multiply fractions. So then we know how to solve a division problem. So let's go do our example down below. Oh, it's in blue math. I have to look. Hold on just 1 second. Okay. So let's look at 5/10 divided by 25/30. First of all, do you want to go ahead and simplify these before we start? All right. What can 5/10 be simplified to? 1/2. Since that's an equivalent fraction, I'm allowed to do that. What about 25/30?
They're both divisible by 5.
Both divisible by 5, so you can turn it into 5/6. Now let's do our keep, change, flip on those numbers. Keep the first fraction the same. It's going to stay 1/2. Change the sign to multiplication. Flip over your last fraction. And now you can just solve it normally. So we're going to multiply across. 1 times 6 is?
6.
2 times 5 is?
10.
Can you simplify 6/10?
Yes.
No. Oh, you can't. They're both even. Divide both by 2. 6 divided by 2 is?
3.
10 divided by 2 is?
5.
5. 3/5. Awesome job. Try the second example on your own. So you guys should have seen I could do 1/2 times 12/9. 12 times 1 is 12. 2 times 9 is 18. You can simplify before you divide. I did not, so I'd have to simplify now. What can 12 and 18 both be evenly divided by? 2 as well, but 6 also. So 12 divided by 6 is 2. 18 divided by 6 is? So your answer should be 2/3. So can you use the keep, change, flip method when dividing by mixed numbers? Yes, we did not have an example problem where it was like that. But if we're just going to be changing it to multiplication, what do you think I should do with my mixed number before I actually divide it? Haley?
Make it an improper.
Make it into an improper fraction, and then you can just do keep, change, flip, and you can solve a division problem.